You've seen American big rigs your whole life. Those long, proud noses stretching way out in front of the cab. And if you've ever seen a truck in Europe, or a movie set overseas, or one of those enormous Australian road trains, you've seen the exact opposite. A flat-faced truck with no nose at all, the cab sitting right at the very front, the windshield practically hanging over the bumper. And you probably figured it was just a matter of style. Different brands, different tastes, the way American cars and European cars just look different. Here's the thing, it's not about style at all. Those two shapes are opposite answers to a single hidden rule, a law about how you measure the length of a truck. And here's the twist that most people never realize. America used to build the flat-faced kind too. They were absolutely everywhere. Until one law, passed in 1982, made the long nose possible almost overnight, and the flat-faced truck nearly vanished from American highways in a single decade. By the end of this, you'll understand why one sentence in a transportation law reshaped the front of every American truck, why Europe went the opposite way and never looked back, and why that famous cartoon truck that transforms into a robot has a flat face when almost no real American truck does anymore. So let's get into it. Why does an American truck have that long nose when it seems to just waste space? Why is a European truck flat-faced instead? If the flat-faced design saves so much room, why on earth did America abandon it? What actually changed in 1982? And why is the long nose safer on the highway, but the flat face better in a city? Here's what everyone gets wrong. We assume the shape of a truck is a design choice, something about looks or comfort or brand identity. But for almost all of history, it was dictated by one deeply unglamorous thing, the law's tape measure. Here's the key idea to hold on to. A truck earns its money by how much cargo it can haul, and cargo rides in the trailer. But for decades, the law didn't just limit the trailer, it limited the total length of the entire rig, the tractor and the trailer added together. And that one detail changes absolutely everything. Because if there's a hard cap on the total, then every single foot taken up by the truck's nose is a foot stolen away from the trailer. A foot of cargo, a foot of revenue, simply gone. Under that rule, a long hood isn't handsome, it's expensive. So engineers did the obvious thing. They got rid of the nose entirely. They took the cab and sat it directly on top of the engine, flat-faced, with the driver perched right over the front wheels. It's called a cabover, and it existed for exactly one reason: to make the truck as short as physically possible, so the trailer could be as long as legally possible. And for most of the 20th century, this is precisely why American highways were full of flat-faced trucks. The rules capped the whole rig, often at around 65 feet. So the cabover ruled the road because every inch it saved up front turned directly into payload out back. If you've ever seen that famous cartoon robot that transforms out of a semi-truck, it's a classic cabover, flat-faced, because that is simply what an American truck looked like back then. But that flat face came at a very real price, and it was paid by the person actually driving it. With the cab sitting right on top of the engine and directly over the front axle, there was no long hood out ahead to soak up the bumps. So the ride was harsh and jarring. The driver sat right on top of a hot, roaring engine, so it was loud. Getting in and out meant practically climbing a ladder and then backing down out of the door while hanging onto a rail. And there was a much darker cost, too. In a head-on crash, there was nothing at all in front of the driver except the windshield. The trucker was, grimly, the very first thing to arrive at the scene of the accident. Then, into 1982, a single piece of legislation changed everything. A federal law called the Surface Transportation Assistance Act completely rewrote how a truck's length gets measured. Instead of capping the whole rig, it set the rules for the trailer alone, guaranteeing that truckers could pull long trailers, and it pulled the tractor out of the length equation entirely. In one single stroke, the nose became free. Suddenly, a long hood cost you nothing in cargo. And here is a detail for anyone following this channel. That is the very same 1982 law we ran into a moment ago. The one that also opened the door to those twin trailer rigs. That one act reshaped trucking in more ways than one. And the moment the nose was free, the entire math flipped. Now there was no reason left to endure the harsh, loud, dangerous cabover, and every reason to build a long hood instead. Because a conventional truck with the engine out in front gives the driver a smoother ride, a quieter cab, room for a big sleeper to actually live in, and an engine sitting out ahead like a built-in crumple zone in a crash. Within about a decade, American fleets switched almost entirely over to the long-nose conventional, and the cabover, king of the American road for 50 years, all but disappeared from the interstate. It didn't die because it was a bad design. It died because the rule that created it was gone. So why is Europe still absolutely full of flat-faced trucks? Because Europe never made that change. To this very day, European law limits the total length of the whole truck and trailer together exactly the way America used to. Which means, over there, the nose still costs you cargo, so the cabover remains the smart choice and often the only legal one. But there's a second reason it fits Europe so perfectly, and it comes down to where those trucks actually drive. American trucks live on vast, open interstates, running thousands of miles across a continent. So what matters most is a comfortable cab a driver can live inside for days at a time. European trucks thread through medieval city centers, narrow lanes and tight roundabouts, and a flat-faced cabover, with its much shorter body and far tighter turning circle, is dramatically better at squeezing through all of that. There is even a safety argument in its favor over there. Because the driver sits so far forward, right up against the glass, they can see a pedestrian or a cyclist directly in front of the truck, far better than a driver perched way back behind a long hood ever could, and that matters enormously on a crowded city street. So the same design America abandoned for being uncomfortable on the open highway is the design Europe deliberately keeps, precisely because it fits crowded, ancient roads. Two continents driving nearly identical trucks a lifetime ago, now looking like completely different machines, all because of one single difference in a law. And once you know this, the front of every truck you see suddenly starts to tell you something. That long-nosed American rig rolling down the interstate is built entirely around a driver who is going to live inside it for a week. Its nose a blend of comfort, aerodynamics, and a crumple zone. But here's the thing. The cabover never actually left America. It just retreated to the places where its shortness still matters. Look at the garbage truck squeezing down your street, the delivery truck weaving through downtown, or the little tractors that shuffle trailers around a port or a rail yard. Many of them are flat-faced cabovers, because in a tight space, a short truck that turns on a dime still wins, exactly the way it does in Europe. And remember that huge blind spot directly in front of a truck that we talked about? A big part of that is caused by the long nose. A flat-faced cabover, with the driver sitting right up at the front, has far less of a front blind spot, which is exactly why cities that care about pedestrian safety are starting to take a serious second look at these designs. Which is why the flat face might just be making a quiet comeback. As cities grow denser, and as electric trucks arrive, which do not need a big engine bay out front at all, the old reasons for the long nose start to weaken, and the compact, sharp-turning, easy-to-see out of cabover suddenly looks modern all over again. It all traces back to the same handful of forces we have followed through every episode: the length of the trailer, the weight on the bridge, the blind spots, the driver living in the cab. The shape of a truck is really just all of those pressures, frozen into steel. A truck's face was never a style. It is the shape of the law it was built under. But the truth is that neither shape ever really won, because each one is a genuine compromise, just optimized for a different world. The long-nose conventional is a superb highway machine, comfortable, safe, and aerodynamic. But it is a clumsy, oversized nuisance in a tight city, carrying a big blind spot right where pedestrians walk. The flat-faced cabover is a brilliant city and short-haul tool, compact, nimble, and easy to see out of. But it is a harsher, more tiring, and historically more dangerous ride over long distances. There simply is no single best truck. There is only the best truck for a particular set of roads and a particular set of rules. America and Europe did not get it right or wrong. They just optimized for different problems, one for endless open highway, the other for crowded ancient streets, and the tape measure of the law quietly pushed each one toward its own answer. Change the rule and the shape would change right back. And the rules, along with the trucks, are shifting yet again. Electric trucks are the biggest wild card of all, because a battery electric truck doesn't need a huge engine bay out front, which removes one of the main reasons for the long nose and quietly reopens the door to flat-faced designs. Cities pushing hard on pedestrian safety are more and more interested in the cabover's superior forward vision, and even the classic American conventional is being reshaped, its nose now sculpted less for looks and more for slicing cleanly through the air to save fuel. Some manufacturers are already showing off brand new flat-faced trucks aimed at exactly the urban electric future that's arriving. The long nose may have ruled the American highway for 40 years, but the same force that created it, the plain rules of the road, is beginning to point the other way once more. So the next time you see a truck and you notice that long American nose or a flat European face, you'll understand that it was never about style or taste or brand at all. It's about a tape measure. For decades, the law capped the length of the entire rig, so every inch of nose stole cargo, and the flat-faced cabover ruled. Then in 1982, America freed the nose from that measurement, and the comfortable long hood took over almost overnight, while Europe, still measuring the whole truck, kept the flat face it needed. So glance at a truck's face, long-nosed or flat, and know that you are not looking at a style choice at all. You're looking at the exact shape of the rules it was built to obey. And that cement mixer you always seem to get stuck behind, the one with the big drum slowly spinning around and around, that drum can never ever stop turning, not even for a single minute. And what happens if it does is a genuinely expensive, rock-solid disaster.